Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well and I hope you're all settling okay with the weather. The weather is obviously changed to the cold weather here, and I am not complaining because looking at what the summer gave us this year, I'm definitely really looking forward to the winter. So yeah, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be talking to you about the 5 things I wish I knew before I started pre-registration year or the foundation trainee pharmacist here in UK. So before I go into my points, if you're new here, my name is Esther. I'm a soon to be qualified pharmacist working in a community setting, and I share educational content, study related content, and some empowerment content, and I put a little bit of lifestyle, what I do on a daily basis, into my content. So if you are new, welcome. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and also like this video, and also switch on your notification bell so you can always get notified whenever I upload a new video. So without further ado guys, let's get straight into the video. So guys, I'll be having my phone with me because I made a list of things I wanted to talk about on my phone. So you might see me looking at my phone, and just to make sure that I get my points right and I'm not just rambling on and on. Okay? So guys, pre-registration year is a huge thing in UK for those that study pharmacy. It's a year that is like a placement year where you have to work for a whole year and experience work life as a pharmacist for a whole year under a tutor, and after that whole year you sit a qualification exam at the end, and if you pass it you can get qualified or you become a qualified pharmacist, and you can decide to work in any sector that you wish. You could decide to work in industry, hospital, or staying in the community as permanent staff, or you can decide to just look around where you just work when you want to and you're flexible with your working hours. So that's what the pre-registration year is. But there is a new name for it. It is now called the Foundation Training Pharmacist Year. I don't know why they made it that long, but pre-reg is just short, so you're going to see me or hear me mentioning pre-reg. It means the same thing. For those that are new would know what I mean, and for those that are old will know what I mean. Okay, so without long talk, let's go straight into it. So guys, one of the first things I wish I knew before I went into my pre-registration year is that it is not the same routine as in when I was at university. And this is so I felt so lost when I started, because at university, you have a timetable. On Monday I have this lecture from this time to this time. You sort of have like a routine, and you know what your typical day is like, so you sort of balance your other time or other things you want to do alongside what your timetable is at the university. And one thing that at university is that you're not going to randomly come up with something that isn't on your timetable before, and it's not going to be like they just come up with something today and like they want you to come in. So it is always well planned and well organized, and you just work around it. So that way you are easy to sort of like make up a routine that you follow throughout all your university days. However, with pre-reg, it's completely different. You don't have a set timetable. The only set timetable you have is that you're going to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 for some, 5:30 for some, and for people like me that work in community, it is 9 to 6, and it does not exclude some weekends where you have to cover up for some Saturdays as well. So that is your only thing. However, routine is literally hard to kind of have a routine, because aside you working full-time with all these hours, you also have to input in your study hours, because you have a big exam at the end of the road. So it is quite difficult to actually have a routine. So it might take you time to set up a routine, but what you can do is you can start practicing into it before you get into it, such as waking up early and sleeping early, and sort of see how you can get the most out of your whole 24 hours in a day and making the best use of it. So routine wise, it wasn't the same way. I thought I could use my normal university routine, things I've developed while I was at uni at this, but it did not work. So I had to sort of develop a new routine that works with working life compared to when I was a student at the university. So my next point, which is my number 2 point of 5 things I wish I knew before I started pre-registration here, is that you need to be proactive. What I mean by this is that if you don't speak up that you want to learn something or you want to learn certain things, it's not going to happen. I don't know how it is. I'm only going to talk about, because I worked in a community and I don't have experience in the hospital more than a 2 weeks experience. So being proactive in the community, you really, really need to. If not, your tutor is not going to spoon feed you and say, I think you need to learn this. I think you need to learn that. They're just going to sort of remind you that you need to learn something that's going to benefit them more in the store because they have a lot of workload and a lot of targets to meet. For example, in my first few 3 to 4 months of pre-reg, which is my worst month of being a pre-reg during my year, was I never spoke out. So whatever they asked me to do, whatever they pushed me to, I just do it. Like I almost spent like 3 months over the counter, which I feel like I did not need to spend that much time over the counter when I could spend that more time learning more on other things that pharmacists do, like the NMS, like the services, the blood pressure and things like that. So if I was proactive enough, I would have been able to learn more instead of me now being proactive after later on, which all those things were not too late and it was just towards the exam period, so there's only so much you could learn. But by the time I realized, I was able to speak up for myself and say, you know what, I want to go and have a 2 weeks cross-sector placement in a hospital to see what a pharmacist does in a hospital, and I was able to bag a 2 weeks placement at St. Pancras Hospital mental health facility, and it was the greatest experience of my life. I really loved it, and it really helped me to narrow down what I really wanted to do once I qualified as a pharmacist. Another way I showed my proactiveness is actually also saying I wanted to see what a GP pharmacist do. And the good thing is that if you don't speak out, nothing will happen. But because I spoke out, my pharmacist was actually very supportive of helping me to get all these experiences. So she was able to just speak to a pharmacist friend of hers that worked in a GP and was able to bag like a couple of days in a GP setting, experiencing what they do as a GP pharmacist. Also, my store was not the ones that does like blue scripts. When I talk about the blue scripts, I mean methadone. So I needed to experience that, and I asked my manager, and she was able to plan me to go to another store that does methadone, like lots of methadone, and I was able to be there for a whole week and experience how they do and deal with that. So if you're not proactive and if you're not talking that you need to learn something, you're not going to. They don't know what you want to do, so they don't sometimes want to overpower you with, I think you need to learn this, you need to learn that, plus you're studying. So they would rather not say anything than you asking. So if you don't mind, just ask, and all you're going to get is a yes or no answer, but you won't regret asking. So just ask and be proactive in asking for things that you want to learn. So my third point is that your opinion is valid. I feel like because you're coming from a university background, you're a student, and you're going to meet a team of pharmacists, because sometimes they are dispensers or ACTs, accurate checkers, or even counter staffs there have been working in that store for years, sometimes even before you were born. Some people have been working there for years. So you coming from nowhere, trying to think, okay, I want to bring an idea in, can be quite difficult, because you might feel like it might not be accepted with a big hug and love, because these people have been used to a set routine. However, if you don't speak, no one is going to know what's going to work and what's going to help them improve their services, help them improve their processes to be able to be efficient in dealing with patients or dealing with their pharmacy as a whole. So putting out your opinion, bring out your ideas. You don't know, because at the end of the day, what would happen is, no, we're good with what we're doing. But sometimes, majority of the time, you get them very, very open-minded to accept your opinions and ideas, and they cannot wait to start implementing it. An example of when I voiced my opinion and ideas, it has to do with the NMS services. I found out that the NMSs ended up getting piled up to the end of the month, because we have to do end of month where we calculate how many numbers of things we've done for the whole month, and then it just becomes an issue where it's so piled up. There's like lots of NMS patients to call, and there's no enough time to do it towards the end of the month, because it just gets so busy. And pharmacy, you can't really tell what each day is going to be like. Each day is not the same. So I was able to implement that. Why don't we just start having like days of the week and calling certain amounts of patients per day, so that way we know that we are actually doing the services a day. You just need 1 hour of your day to focus on it. And the fact that you're a pre-reg there, you're hoping to help them cover their services, because you can't just do dispensing all the time or just counter all the time. Sometimes you can just learn and learn how to do NMS, because you'll be doing that as a pharmacist. So that is a good thing for you to be proactive and at the same time bring out your opinion for. Another thing was end of day. I was able to implement that we need to start doing what is called end of day. End of day is like the last hour of the day. We focus on doing our admin work and important tasks that will help our next day job to become easier. So I noticed that we don't do that, and then at the end of the month again we end up having piles of prescription to claim, when we could have been claiming every day as we go to reduce that workload at the end of the month. So I was able to implement that, and everyone likes the idea. So we ended up having to, the last hour, we know that any patient that comes in that wants that prescription, we make it for them to go. But if you're not coming in, we don't make it up. So we focus on important tasks like sending prescription request emails to the surgery so that the medications can be sent back to us tomorrow and patients can have their medication. Claiming of scripts on a daily basis, and getting delivery medications ready the day before, so that when the driver comes in the next day, their medications are ready to go for delivery. You know, those little things, admin work, you can do it in that hour, and that helps to the smooth running of the other day, and you don't have to worry about, oh, this has not been sent, this has not been done, and then being overwhelmed for the next day. So that was one of the opinions I voiced out, and it really helps, and we are implementing it in our pharmacy now, and I hope they stick to it, even if I leave. But it is something that has been helping and has made us more efficient. Another point, which is my fourth point of things I wish I knew before I started pre-registration here, is that work-life balance can be difficult. That's very, very true. And when I was at uni, I would say I had a fair chance and fair bit of good work-life balance, because I'm at uni Monday to Friday, and I still go and work on the weekends. And I feel like sometimes as well I still have some social life with my friends and family, even friends around university. So I was able to get that good balance. But at pre-reg, it's so hard to actually get that balance, because like I said from my first point, you're working Monday to Friday, typically 9 to 6, and you have to study as well. So imagine, like, even your weekends, you're like, I can't play or sit down watch football or sit down watch Netflix because I have to study. Because this exam coming up is like a big exam, and you can't just cram everything into one few weeks. It's not like exam at uni where you can easily wing some exams and you still pass, but this one you can't. So you really need to sort of like, that balance is something that's quite difficult, which is why sometimes even while I was doing my training, that I was MIA a lot. No one can find me, because there's a lot of workload studying, and you're having less sleep, and you're going to work, you're stressed and things like that. So the work-life balance might be difficult. So before you start, you might want to start putting yourself into routines and making sure that, okay, I sleep at this time of the day every day, and make sure I wake up every day. Sometimes it might not work that way depending on how tired you are. So you just have to start getting yourself into routine to see if you can find balance before you start. And when you start, your first 2 months is somewhere where you used to actually figure out what that sort of balance is going to work best for you during your training. So my last point, which is my 5th point of things I wish I knew before I started pre-registration year, is that the final exam is hard. Yes guys, it is very, very hard. This is not to scare you that you're not able to do it. You are able to do it, but if you don't revise, and if you don't like sort of know what works for you, and you just want to follow what everybody says online, that, oh, I think I did it over a space of 1 month and I passed, what if that does not work for you? You're going to fail big time. And this is coming from someone that had to sit the exam the second time. Hopefully I passed, and I could see a huge difference in when I revised for the first one and when I revised for the second one. So I would definitely recommend, if it's, no matter how little it is, just start from your day one. Start to know that once you step into your workplace from your first day, you need to start learning and start planning your studying into what you're doing on a daily basis. While you're at work, you're learning. Always know that while you're at work, while you're working, you're learning. Even no matter how little it is, you are learning. So you have to keep that in mind, and you need to put in that effort, because if not, you literally feel, like I said, you feel big time, and well, you just have to resit it. But just know, these exams, you're only allowed to resit it 3 times, so you don't want to take back it like, oh, I've just resit it, no problem. No, you just have to know that it's hard. Set your mind that it's a hard exam. Every board exams or qualification exams are not going to be easy peasy, because they want to make sure that whoever that they have signed up as qualified is actually qualified. And at this point, you're dealing with patients' lives, so they have to make it as difficult as it is, because human beings are difficult anyways. So the exam is hard. However, it is not, if you think about it, it's like your whole 5 years of workload that you did at uni, or 4 years of workload at uni, you're not compiling it into 1 year, and you're trying to learn everything in 1 year. It's like a whole BNF Bible that you have to learn. I personally did not read every page of the BNF. I just like paid for some courses and resources to learn. But if you, before you go in, those are the things you need to prepare your mind and say, okay, what courses or resources do I want to invest in, or do I want to use to start my revision or to get the ball rolling once I start? Those are the things I wish I knew. I was just enjoying myself and floating. I'm like, you know what, we'll just wing it and things. So I just wish I prepared myself more for the year, and maybe I would have done better. Maybe I would have planned and be organized better. So those are the things I wish I knew before I started pre-registration here. So guys, I wish you've been able to learn 1 or 2 things from this, and trust me, like I said, this is not to scare you. Even though it sounds difficult, or it sounds like, oh my god, it's undoable, guys, more people pass than more people fail, but you might be one of the minorities if you don't put in the effort. So it's just to put you out there that you are able to do it, and you can do it if you plan okay and you're organized well, and you sort of know things to expect ahead before you get into it. So that's it. That's my 5 things I wish I knew before I started pre-registration here. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you really like this video. If you do, please give this video a like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also switch on the notification bell so you can always get notified whenever I upload a new video on my channel, and also share with your friends. Everybody's gonna benefit from this, trust me. And yeah, thank you so much for watching guys, and I'll see you all in my next video. Have a good day. Bye.